Asia Down Under today, on the weekend of World Refugee Day, we meet and greet some of New Zealand's refugee migrants, past and present. Hello and welcome to Asia Down Under. Real people, real needs is the theme of this year's United Nations World Refugee Day. Despite the efforts of many, the needs of refugees worldwide are far from being met. Today we're marking the United Nations event with a special program devoted to New Zealand's refugees, past and present, and how we, as a country, try to meet their needs.
We're living in the bunker 15 days. No food, no milk for my daughter.
Like you don't feel safety, like you have to run away from all the bullets.
They dragged Grandma from the bed and threw her to the ground. She died instantly.
Living in safety is something that most of us take for granted. But for some trapped in areas with conflict, there's no choice but to leave their homes. And that often means leaving their sense of belonging, culture, identity, friends, and even their loved ones. It is a sad fact of the world's estimated 16 million refugees, only 1% are actually resettled in a new country. New Zealand can take pride in the fact it's one of just 14 countries in the world that offer resettlement and citizenship as a permanent solution. Since 1979, the Mangere Refugee Reception Centre has helped more than 40,000 refugees from all over the world. This former US military base camp from the Second World War may still look like a fortress, but it's become a sanctuary for some. People like John Jin Kang, who fled from his home in Burma, left fearing for his life. He ended up in Malaysia, where he worked illegally for 9 years.
Living in Burma was so scary. I was hoping there would be a future for me in Malaysia. But working illegally always made me afraid of being caught. There was no freedom at all.
John met Kayutu, now his wife, in Malaysia too.
The United Nations granted us refuge. When I got off the plane in Auckland, it was so cold. I was worried how I could cope with it, but when we arrived in the Mangere Centre, I felt warm. I'm very happy.
The Refugee Resettlement Program is run under the umbrella of the Department of Labour, working together with other agencies.
There are a number of different types of refugees. Firstly, there's the quota refugees, that's what they're referred to as, and we bring 750 of them to New Zealand a year. They're recognised as refugees by the UN Refugee Agency, and they're recognised before they come to New Zealand. We then process them to determine whether New Zealand is the right settlement option for them or not.
There are 7 communal blocks like this that can accommodate up to 150 people in total. Here, refugees are given not only shelter, but every kind of support needed to start fresh.
People have lost so much in becoming a refugee. They've lost their homes, they've lost their families, their culture, everything that they knew. And what that means emotionally for loss is really important. The government departments that are involved in refugee resettlement, that has strengthened and developed enormously across health, education, housing, the immigration sector, Ministry of Social Development are all interested in how can we help refugees to settle well, to give them the opportunities so that we can maximise on those skills and strengths that they bring.
During their 6-week stay at the centre, they're nurtured with intensive English classes, practical social skills, as well as healthy food.
All the refugees here at the centre get 3 meals a day, plus there's also a piece of fruit for them given for morning tea in the classrooms as well. And the meals are trying to actually replicate some good, healthy, basic meals that they could also learn to take those sort of menus and dishes and use them at home when they leave the centre.
There's also a wide range of activities to enjoy.
In New Zealand, it's nice for me to play with these things, but in Nepal, I don't get chance to play with these things.
Why?
because I need identity to play with these things.
In some cases, refugees arrive with few possessions. Clothing is also available here if needed.
New is second-hand, but still
But living in a lifetime of involvement in trauma, having to flee your country, and even the flight experience is very dangerous and risky. Having to leave without any papers is just an experience that is beyond our ability to conceive of, really. And that's why it is such a gift that we can offer to have that security of documentation, of papers, of belonging in a country. But on the other hand, we receive so much from refugees who then become part of the diversity in New Zealand. Many of them have had time now, the communities have had time to settle, to take root, for there to be children of refugee families who are going to university, children who are developing skills and professions and becoming very well educated and very strongly participating in New Zealand society as a whole.
One day we will tell our daughter about the family we left behind in our homeland, but we won't tell her about the hardship we went through, because now she has a future to look forward to in New Zealand.
For these new Burmese refugees, this is their 5th of 6 weeks at the Mangere Centre. Next week, each family will leave to be placed in different regions. They will team up with a volunteer ready to begin a brand new life.